Welcome to the Village podcast. I am your host, Nicole Trunfio. My why has always been to empower women and amplify the voices of mothers. We created the Village to share stories and ideas to embody the innate wisdom of a village, but on a modern day platform. I hope this podcast inspires, educates, and informs you and brings you the joy, love, and light you deserve. Welcome to the Village. Today on The Village, we have someone that I've been dying to sit down and have I feel like we could have multiple episodes with her. She is a goddess. She is the founder of Mama Glow, a maternal health and education platform that serves women all the way through pregnancy, postpartum, and well into parenthood. So please welcome to the Village podcast today, Latham Thomas, aka Mama Glow.
Hey.
Herself.
Thank you so much.
I've been waiting for so long to sit down and have conversation.
I'm so glad we could do this because
Yeah.
we always are on the phone.
Yes.
And so now it's in person. So great.
And
Yeah.
I was, well, first of all, I want to know about what drew you to your life's work, to this
Yeah.
to your life's purpose.
So I was called into doula work, and I call it a calling specifically because I was not necessarily looking to become a birth worker, but I was pulled in this direction of birth work. I would say the beginnings were twofold. One was when I was about 4 years old. My mom was pregnant. My great aunt and my other aunt, who was married to my uncle, they were all pregnant at the same time, due within a month of each other, March, April, and May. And so I was going to be big sister and a cousin, and I was super excited about it. And my mother had me watching little shows on PBS. There was a show called My Mom's Having a Baby. I loved that show. It was like a cartoon. And then I had Grey's Anatomy coloring books. So I was learning about the anatomy of the body. I was so obsessed by it. One of the things my mom was really proud about was that I was able to map the entire pelvis. I was 4.
Wow.
So when we would go to places and people would misname the parts,
Yeah.
I would correct them.
Wow.
So my mom's in a grocery store. She's 7 months. And this guy comes up to her and he's like, "Oh, your mother has a baby in her belly." I said, "No, my mother has a baby in her uterus and it's going to come out of her vagina." And so, so I was
oh my gosh, I love that. And I can totally picture little you saying that to somebody.
So it's kind of one of those things that would foreshadow, right? And then fast forward to when I was pregnant with my son and I chose to deliver in a birth center. Now, just for context, okay, because we are mothers, we are entrepreneurs, we are also women of the world, okay? We're into fashion and all of the things.
Yeah.
And we're into hanging out. And so if you were outside like I was, there was a place right next to the birth center and it was a nightclub that we used to go to.
Oh, yeah.
And it was called first it was called Nels, and everybody knows Nels if you were outside, but then it became the Darby and Up and Down.
And Up
right?
and Down.
Remember? So my son thinks he was born in a nightclub.
Yeah.
But he was born next door in the birth center.
He's into music now, right?
And he turned out to be a musician and a DJ. So
it's vibrating.
It all kind of, right?
Love it.
So it was really interesting. But so I had him at this birth center on 14th Street in the Village.
Yeah.
And there was midwives.
Yeah.
And it was this autonomous, experience of having total agency over your birth. Having this feeling of safety and security and connection and belonging, and also of reverence and trust.
Yeah.
And somebody who knew that your body was capable and believed in you and your body. And so when I had my son there, which was an incredible experience, it was an out-of-body experience. My ancestors visited me during this birth. I knew that I wanted to help people.
Right.
After that. I said, within 20 minutes, I said, "Oh no.
Yeah.
This, I have to help people."
Yeah.
For sure.
And at that time wasn't such a big thing to have a support system around you during birth.
No, at the time, people knew what doulas were.
Yeah.
But it was not like a word in the zeitgeist like it is today. And so I actually didn't have a doula. I had a really close friend come. She's basically served as my doula. She's an OBGYN now. But that was the first birth she ever witnessed.
Wow.
Was my son. And but yeah, we had like a really great experience.
Yeah.
And I knew that would kick it off. I didn't know what it would look like to like, birth a business, but it sort of was, fledgling alongside like my son being really young. And I was a solopreneur doula, and then went out into the world and kept building what would become Mama Glow.
Yeah.
And so I would really say that for me, it was like these tiny seeds that were being planted that would become the work, right? Yeah. And I feel like I was called to it because when I say a calling, I always say the callings are inconvenient. Like when you're called to something, it's never like in the right time where your like makeup is done and you're dressed and everything's perfect. It's like, no, it comes to you in a time where you feel like you may be under-resourced and you don't know if it's possible for you to actually do this thing you're being asked to do, that you're being called to do by spirit, right? Yeah. And you have to sort of move with the faith and put one foot in front of the other and build whatever it is. Yeah. And also if you think about the inconvenience, it's like, it's not convenient to be woken up in the middle of the night to like put on a snowsuit and hop in a taxi because there's no Uber and go to somebody's birth, right? It's really inconvenient if you think about it. Yeah. But it's compelling and I feel called to do it, and I feel like my life depends upon doing it. You see what I'm saying? And that's how doulas are. Like their lives become consumed by being support, right? By being an anchor, by being this part of the birth village, by being this tether in the birth village, right?
So necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Community is everything.
Community is really everything.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I had this idea one day and I said to my husband, I was like, I don't think we're being set up for success. Yeah. And I was like, I feel like, and the village it kind of like vibrates through me when I'm with my woman crew, like all of my female friends and like my female tribe. I feel so supported and I feel like we all sync together. There's a book called, I always reference it, it's called Do Less by Kate Northrup.
Yep, it's a great book.
And it talks about the cycle and how we should be more social at some part of our cycle, how we should focus, how we should nest. There's like all different stages of women's cycle and how women will cycle together. Yep. And then some women will cycle on the opposites. They can care for the women that are cycling. All of these things. And I'm like, if we lived in a village, like how do we create a modern day society where we live in like a village mentality where the women are taking care of each other, but also for the men. Like
they also need
there's
caring.
So much. I had a son and I was like, oh my gosh, there's this responsibility on your head already because you're a man that you're going to have to provide for a family one day. Yeah. That's a big responsibility. It is. And if you think about it, in the days of villages, it's like the men would go together and hunt. Always, and they would bring back, everything together and be celebrated as a team.
Yeah, we're supposed to be in community.
I think so. That feels really supportive. It feels like a dream to even think like how people used to live and
how many people still live in like the global South, right? Like so many people still live this way, but like it feels foreign to us, right? Being in the States and living how we live, this accelerated pace and everything separate. Family members are really far away. Yeah. So it doesn't feel, I know very few people who still live in the same hometown as like their immediate family members, right? Like generationally, think about like 3 generations. Yeah. Most people don't, right? You you move away to secure job opportunities for school, for higher education, things like that. But then usually people don't come back home. Yeah. Right. They make homes other places. And so then when it's time to have a baby, like who's in your community to help care for you, help you, right? And so that also happens so much. And I think we saw the effects of that during like COVID, where people were isolated, family members couldn't get to them. It's really important, as you said, for us to evolve together, but also to take on those caregiving capacities, and share that. A lot of people don't know this, but in men, if you have a male partner, in the last trimester of pregnancy, they actually start to produce caregiving hormones like prolactin, as well as estrogen.
Yeah.
And so that's amazing. If you think about like what's gonna, happen when the baby arrives, they also experience a decrease in their testosterone production, which means that they become like less aggressive, like more caring, and also can share that load, right?
Wow.
So they're actually biologically hardwired to prepare themselves for this idea of parenthood, this idea of caretaking. And so it's a communal event, right? But often, as you said, like it's siloed, where like women are doing the work, men are doing this, but really it should be something that we all do together, regardless of our family configuration.
What stimulates that in men? Is it just being around the female during that time?
Well, it's a couple of things. Like there's all types of hormones that are, circulating in their partner, and there's a shared experience of preparing for the baby. And so naturally there's there's oxytocin production, which is like sort of the cuddling or bonding hormone. It's actually a neurotransmitter that helps to stimulate what are called our what do we call them? Like there are these reflexes that are connected to like ejection reflexes, really. So if you think about the ejection reflex at female and male orgasm, with this reflex, like sperm enters the body, if you're having that type of sex, and then so that for female orgasm is sperm introjection reflex. So like letting the sperm come into the body at high level arousal and orgasm. Then you have with the heightened state of contractions during, laboring, you have this reflex to release the baby. And that's the fetal ejection reflex. You have the ejection of the placenta, right after, which also comes with like really intense contractions after the baby is born to cut off the blood vessels to ensure that there's no postpartum hemorrhage. You also have after that reflex, you have the letdown reflex, which we understand as the milk ejection reflex, right? So all these ejection reflexes, right, that are connected to oxytocin. So that's one thing, right? So the body does that. Does many things, but at the same time, what's happening with a person who's living in that environment is that they also become accustomed to the changes that are happening, and their brain is also changing, right? And so there's neural pathways that are lighting up. There's different hormonal systems at play that bond people together and prepare them for this journey. So it is witnessing, but it's also being a part of that experience that will change a partner. And it's also just their biology, because we evolved to actually be doing this work together, right? So a lot of people think—
It makes me wonder about like men that aren't able to be around their women, like if they work away or if they have jobs in the military, for example. Like how does that, have you ever worked with somebody where their husband is not able to be as present and then steps in when the baby is?
I would say that it's not like if you have distance, it means that you're not going to feel connection. And in many cases, actually, people who are distant have this compelling desire to minimize that distance and become closer, right? And so in some cases, it means that they develop this even sometimes stronger connection because they don't see the person every day, right? And so I wouldn't say that it makes it like less so. And we obviously don't have like studies really to talk about this in the same way.
I know.
But,
I feel like we need to.
We do probably need to research it. But we do understand what distance does to people. We do understand what isolation does to people. And so we know that being in community does actually impact positively on mental health. It impacts positively on birth outcomes. And so that's why we always keep people with their family members when they're birthing, right?
Yeah.
And then in the postpartum period, as you know, right, it is so important to have that village keeping. And so being able to have your partner and family members present and a village that you really design for yourself, right? Which is so critical. I think a lot of people are struggling because they haven't been able to build this for themselves, right? And figure out how to navigate.
Yes. I think like the 4th trimester, we call it, because it's so overlooked. I had a home birth, my first child, and it went pear-shaped. Like it was a really just dire situation. And my midwife and doula were like, they delivered 1,500 babies and they'd never seen a situation like that happen, which also makes me believe like it really propelled me into my life's work, which is this. But I lent into Ayurvedic postpartum doula, which is something that is quite unique, especially at the time 11 years ago.
Yes.
It was really hard to find one in LA, surprisingly, after my 2nd and 3rd babies at the time that I had them. But I really, truly believe that was having a doula and having a postpartum doula was the most important part of my journey. And I don't think people focus on that. And postpartum, my dad said to me, because I'm Australian, obviously, my husband's American, he was like, you need your family around you when you're having a baby. Just keep in mind of that. And I think, as worldly people that we are now, we want to travel, we want to live in our own places, we want to claim our own identities. Yeah. And when you go into that stage of your life and that transition into motherhood and growing a family, not having, the ones that came before you there, your family members, really impacts you a lot.
Yeah.
So, and you have to really try and find that with community.
Yes, that's really important because a lot of people, what I've seen over the years too is that some people, family is safe for them. And so they want them there. And for some people, that would be like the wrong choice to make, right? To bring family members in, or they don't even have that kind of configuration to rely on, right? And so I think it's important during the pregnancy and even before, as you're thinking about it, if you think about conscious conception and planning, to really take time to figure out who becomes part of that pod, right? Like who's your immediate community members that you can lean on. If you're having twins, who in your community has twins that can like kind of be your auntie and usher you into this, and help you with resources and information and tips and tools. If you're trying to learn about breastfeeding, what courses, what community members, what people can help you, like really just sort of making like a mental note, but also like tapping those people in advance, because that's how you build your birth village, right? And then along with that comes your practitioners. Along with that comes your ancillary providers like acupuncture, massage, like your breastfeeding and lactation consulting support, your training or movement, support. All of these things are so critically important, right? As we think about and nutrition and all that, as we think about like our journey. Yeah. Like there's people who all play different roles, right? Yeah. And obviously the doula is so critical because as we think about birth, we prepare so much for that. But the postpartum period is really where we see most of the fatal, instances, with maternal health, right? We see fatalities in the postpartum period. More so than like during pregnancy or immediately after birth. We see this in the acute postpartum period and then delayed postpartum, right?
What is the period where you see
so acute postpartum is like the first 8 hours after birth, where we monitor heavily to ensure things like high blood pressure doesn't come up, things like postpartum hemorrhage don't occur. Yeah. And then immediately when people go home, we have to remember in the United States, people don't go back to their physician for 6 weeks. Yeah. So a lot can happen in that time, right?
Based on insurance, right? Insurance say that's when you can go.
But also based on when the body is deemed to be healed and ready for intercourse. Yes. Which is not something that most people necessarily want to do, but also like, why are we basing like my well-being on whether or not I can have sex?
Sex or not.
right? So like, hello. But yeah, going back to, this idea though of being in community, that's when you have like your doula who's available during that time. If you birth with a midwife, they're available. They're not going to say, I'll see you in 6 weeks, right? So, the model of caregiving has been really decimated in this country. Like we built systems against caregiving in the United States, and I would say largely in the West. And so there's so much to do to build back in for ourselves. Like you said, like we should build something that feels more like what it used to be. And I think that a lot of people are working towards that in their own silos, in their own ways, right?
Yeah.
So we work towards that when we think about how to build postpartum support. We work towards that when we think about how to set up a family so that they can actually thrive on the other side of parenthood, right? We work towards that when we think about how we're going to build our birth village prior to our baby arriving. It's really hard to ask for help when you're like in the moment.
It's so hard. And I know that there are some books, like I wanted to ask you if there's a way that you would recommend for someone, say from our community that is pregnant right now and hasn't even thought about this.
Yeah.
And is like, okay, where do I start? I know there's books that you can, it kind of has like a to-do list of people to gather. Do you have people bringing you food afterwards? Like there's so many roles and things that you're going to need. So you kind of have to pull everybody in, even after the baby arrives. Like what's happening in the 4 weeks after the baby arrives? Like who do you have to support you there?
Yeah.
How do you recommend like women go about it? Or how do you tell your clients to kind of gather this community?
I mean, we typically have people work with doulas to help with all of that, right? Because it's like the organizational skills are there, the forethought, and also this is somebody who can anticipate your needs. For listeners, doulas are non-clinical birth professionals, right? That offer everything from emotional support to physical support, education, advocacy tools. If you have a partner present, they're there to help them out. And they're kind of like a cheerleader for your birth, right? They're just there to like, help you, but also fill in the gaps, right? That like show up as cultural and structural gaps where care is needed, and to figure out how we find a way to adjust for the fact that care doesn't exist, right? Or that some pieces are missing. And then, bring the right people in and ensure that you have this bubble around you where you feel nestled. And I like to think about it as swaddled with love, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really the role of the doula, to help with that and also to disseminate information for you. So different families have different needs. Like I find that some people are really into reading. Some people won't pick up a book. And so I don't assign books to people who don't read. It's like, okay, like they're going to feel, when I come back to them, they're going to feel some sort of like, what's the word? Like I'm disappointed or something, right? If they didn't accomplish, like, hey, read this book or read a couple chapters or read an article. Instead, if I know like one person reads and one person's like really into TikTok, I'm just going to send them TikToks, you know, or videos or YouTubes, to check out, to learn some of the information. I'm going to find more interactive ways to like engage them that doesn't require them picking up a book if that's not them, right? Also, if I have somebody that is really into reading, then I'll put the syllabus together for them and I'll make it really fun. And so it's like really meeting people where they are, right? Checklists I think are always great. And we have like an amazing, I would say, amount of tools. One thing that I did bring here today that I'd love to share is that on our website, mamaglow.com, we have this beautiful shared decision-making toolkit that we launched with Aetna. And it has all of these amazing checklists, tools. There's journaling prompts, ways for you to think about like the process and prepare for it. And it's a tool that you can also share with your caregiving team. It's, it's really accessible. So wherever you are in your journey, like you can really feel uplifted by it, but also you can understand what we're talking about. The language is understandable. We did it at like 4th grade reading level to ensure that anybody could understand what we were talking about.
That is the best. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
That I would have just straight away gotten that in the beginning of my pregnancy.
Because it's just a tool, right?
Yes.
But then on top of that, obviously there's amazing books, that I love. I love The First 40 Days by Hang Oh, which is such a great book, which I feel like has philosophy around, basically rest, in the first 6 weeks postpartum.
Yeah.
We think about like the sort of Chinese way in traditional Chinese medicine. The idea is that you rest for the first 40 days to actually prepare you for well-being for the next 40 years of your life, right?
Yeah.
And so it is an investment. It's also really a strict way of ensuring that you go lay down, right? So your body can heal, right? And recover, and you can replenish all that you lost in the labor, right? And to meet the demands of breastfeeding and new motherhood, you have to rest, right?
Yes, you do.
We're programmed not to. So many of us like don't even know how to sit down. Like I talk to people and they're like, I got to do this, I got to do that. I'm like, girl, sit down. Like, what are you doing?
It's almost like an accomplishment to be up right away. Like, oh, I just had a baby and I'm up already doing things.
And I got my makeup done. And look at my pictures. Me and my baby are slayed. It's like, girl, go lay down.
Yes.
You know? But I think the other thing about that, which people don't think about, is your body does so much work, right? Like I like to remind people that like your resting heart rate, like your beats per minute increase to 10 to 20 beats, right? Which means that even when you're resting, you're doing too much, right? Your body's always working. Like today you might make eyelashes or a liver. Like sit down.
Yes.
You know, like let your body do this work that it's doing and really just rest, you know? And so the reclamation of rest, I think, is really important, especially when I think about this for women who've been denied rest. When I think about like my community and Black communities where, you know, historically we hadn't had that right to rest. So I really, really fight for that, especially like in this time where our bodies are doing so much work. To take this time that nobody will afford you at any other time in your life. To actually reflect and rest and let your body replenish itself.
Yes.
Right?
It's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. I like in my practice, the Ayurvedic, I had to stay in bed for 2 weeks.
Yes.
It was so hard for me because I'm such a mover, but I really understood like how necessary it was. And if I would get out of bed, my husband, my kids, my doula would just give me the evil look. They were like, I see you. Get back in bed.
Just go from the bathroom back to the bed, right? Lay down. Yeah. Did you get like massages and things like that?
It sounds like when you say massage, it sounds like really luxurious, but it was Abhyanga massage, which it's more about the lymph system and like really getting all of that, all of the fluids that are built up during pregnancy and then also childbirth, especially if you've had like an epidural.
Exactly.
And it's just really flushing out everything. So you can have a clear system and a system that's in flow. So the Abhyanga warm sesame oil massage, and then the herbal sitz bath, and then the warm foods you can't eat. Anything that's
nothing cold, right? And nothing cooling.
Yes. And all the herbs that help the womb retract. Honestly, that for me, that first experience that I had 11 years ago with a postpartum Ayurvedic doula, it really ignited something in me. Yeah. Because I'd never had a friend that had that. Yeah. Or even having a doula, it's like, it's these practices, these Eastern practices, bringing them to the Western world. They're so essential for the mom. I gifted it to myself as my push present to have a postpartum doula. I love that you thought of that. Yeah. And
not everybody thinks of that.
After every baby, I think it's the most important thing. Yeah. Even as like support with breastfeeding, they would come. So a postpartum doula, I guess there's so many different types of postpartum doulas as well. But I know mine also, they would just like do light washing. They would hold the baby while you took a shower.
Yes, because taking a shower, y'all, it's like a luxury, right?
Right. And then she would give me a warm sesame oil massage, but it's not like an hour-long deep tissue. It's a quite
lymphatic drainage.
They know you've got a lot of stuff to do. You can't be on the table for that long. Also, when your milk comes in, and your breasts are so engorged, like nobody told me about that. Yeah, nobody told me that was going to happen. I was like, I look like a blow-up doll.
I had that too. And I'm like really small chested. And so when I was like bumping into stuff because they were so big and I was like, what is this? It was so painful.
It's so painful.
But I learned because my mom came
Yeah.
And she breastfed me till I was 2. But for the first year, I had no teeth. So she breastfed me until I was 13 months.
Yeah.
On breast milk alone, I was 32 pounds and I couldn't walk. I was like a little Buddha. I had rolls. I had like rolls upon rolls upon rolls.
Love that. It's the best.
Isn't it great to have these little fat babies?
Oh,
like
baby rolls.
But I'm like, also, you need to walk like 30 pounds. So I was 32 pounds. And she always is like, yeah, I'm the queen of breastfeeding, basically, because she did that. And then my sister too, she breastfed for her, I think, like a year. But me, like the teeth was the factor, like, because I didn't have any. So it was like awesome. She could just keep going.
Yeah.
And then I started to finally walk. But so she came and was like, okay, like, I'm going to help you. She's making my bath every day.
Yeah.
She was like ushering visitors in and out.
Beautiful.
And then she was latching the baby for me.
Wow.
And then she came to the appointments with me. So we saw a lactation person, maybe like day 4 or 5 of life. And then she came to the appointment, but then she was just putting him on and then helping me. And so she really wanted me to succeed because obviously she had, and I was committed to it and I learned and it was great. We had a little learning curve, but I figured it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember I didn't know, like, typically you breastfeed 15 minutes each side to like not get to that place of engorgement.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I was just kind of going. And then I was like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And then trying to drain them, their little faces are so small. And you're like, I'm so sorry. I'm about to drown you. It's so insane. So, but I produced a lot of milk too.
Great.
And then my baby didn't take a bottle. So I had like all this frozen milk. He was like 5 and I was like, okay, I have frozen breast milk. I should probably just, like get rid of this at a certain point.
What did you do with it?
I forget what I did. Well, I used to
donate it now.
But I know back then I didn't even know
that you can donate it.
I know.
I love.
But this was like breast milk that had been sitting there for too long.
Yeah.
So it was like, I probably could have just done more like health related stuff, like put it on a scar or something.
Yeah.
But at the time,
some people make like banana bread and stuff.
Yeah. People make actual food with it.
Yeah.
But you can really, it's so alkaline that it heals everything. Like you put it on a scar, it'll go away.
Yeah. An ear infection, eye infection.
Put it in, eye infections, pink eye.
Yep.
It will go away. So people don't realize, people are going to start robbing us in the night from our breast milk. But anyway, that was huge. That was huge to have that support, right?
Do you remember we were chatting about this the other day when formula, they told in the 80s, I think they told women that breast milk was bad for the baby. And they were just trying to sell formula. Over
the years, they have had campaigns that have gone with the times.
Yeah.
So if you think about like working women in the 80s, it was all about going and being in the workforce. It was all about like this pro-feminist, women against men. Like there was kind of that dynamic happening socially. And what that meant, women wore shoulder pads. They were competing with men. They were doing the pants thing. Yeah, it was very much like women being good men in the world. And so because of that, there was also rejection also of the body. There was rejection of these feminine processes that are like uniquely happening to us during the reproductive life course. And so there was a hiding of everything, an absconding of menstruating, an absconding of birthing and breastfeeding, hiding of pregnancies, not really sharing and stuff, developing maternity clothing, not to support and make you feel comfortable, but also to hide.
Right.
Right. And then this idea also of, pushing away from breastfeeding because, this is gauche. Why are we doing this? We're women who work or women of the world, which is also something that we see that ebbs and flows, over the last couple hundred years as we examine the sort of birthing landscape. There was a time also in the 1700s, it was considered gauche. And so enslaved Black women would actually breastfeed the babies of their enslavers alongside their own babies. It was seen as not something you would do, right? Culturally at the time. So it's gone, and then formula comes onto the scene. And when formula is developed, it's actually, it's called formula because it was a unique formulation for that infant. And then they developed a way to sort of, scale it by creating a general formula that could then be for any baby.
Everybody.
Right. And then
I did not know that.
Yes. And then over time, deciding to try to make money. So then cutting corners and doing all the things, putting all the fillers and things that are in, formula now that will grow a baby, but not provide the necessary nutrients and immune factor and things that breast milk provides. Breast milk is just the gold standard for infant nutrition. It is unique in how it is composed because it is also species specific and it is also designed for the infant. It is informed by the infant that you are raising, right?
Yeah.
Or the child you are raising. And is informed also by your environment.
Informed as well. Someone told me that there's kind of your breast and your nipple can sense if there is some kind of, infection or the infant's having,
so that's how it happens through kissing. So you know how you nuzzle and kiss and your body takes in information. It'll take in pathogens that are in contact with the baby. And then the breast will then secrete, like your body will produce the immune factor, right? And any antibodies, and it'll pass it back through the breast milk to your baby that'll suckle and basically get inoculated at the breast, for protection.
Yeah.
And they also depend on and are part of your immune system for like the first 18 months. So they're getting what they need in protection through proximity to you and through breastfeeding, which like formula cannot do. So, as much as, it's a great solution for families who need it. And we obviously are grateful that it's there to feed infants. And regardless of what your situation is, like if you want a combo feed, if you want to just breastfeed exclusively, if you are just solely feeding with formula, like every person should have a choice and feel empowered in that choice.
100%.
But also people should know the options that, like you said, there are milk banks available. There's all kinds of ways to get, human milk because it is such an important form of nutrition early in life. And the more an infant gets, like the better their health overall. And it really does lay the foundation for health over a protracted period of time.
Yeah.
And so as much as so even people who are like, look, I don't know that I can breastfeed. I'm going back to work in 2 weeks. Try to feed for those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. At least giving that foundation, that's still a win, and also we know that like we have set things up again, when we're talking about community, we've set it up where people don't have what they need for their village. They don't have the support of being able to stay home, to be with their babies, to actually help them to grow healthily and also to heal, because 1 in 4 women in the United States go back to work 10 to 14 days after having a baby.
Yeah.
So how are you going to breastfeed? How are you going to heal? Right.
Yeah.
So going back to that village keeping, what does it look like to design a village where you can actually stay? Right? Where we actually have paid parental leave, where you can actually be home with your baby, be home with your partner, be home with community. Family members can come in, doula support, postpartum support can come in.
Yeah.
Like that's the village that we've been describing, right? That's important, but we always had that and we've moved away from it. And so now you have to hire all these people to create these components of what was actually guaranteed to you through birthright.
Yeah.
Because you were in a community.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How do we get to a place where like now we're like, oh, I got to go pay for that person who was literally just my auntie, right? In previous generations, this would have all been part of what we would have evolved into.
Yeah.
And I think that there is part of our psyche that knows that and that remembers that and recalls that. And so when people have things like postpartum depression and anxiety, I think part of that is feeling this disconnection to and a lack of support and a remembering and a recall of what actually it was, what we had ancestrally, what we had as community, and feeling that missing.
Yes, that just resonated with me on such a deep level. Like, what is postpartum? Yeah, I really feel that.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously there's so many other components, but a big piece of it is feeling the lack of support, feeling the lack of community, feeling the lack of care.
From Australia, we have, such great support around mom and family.
What's it like when because like what are the sort of state provided services and what sort of like the community expectation when someone gives birth?
Well, you get leave, maternity leave. I know in Sweden, it's like 2 years for mom and
Yes.
1 year for dad, or
I think
something.
it's like 14 or 16 months for the father. Yeah.
Like when I see countries like that, I mean, Australia is great, but then you see that and you're like, okay,
and they pay high taxes, but they get stuff for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff that really supports just being a human living on the
Mm-hmm.
planet. Someone told me recently that in Belgium, maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
Belgium, correct me if I'm wrong, but they no longer allow the cry it out method with babies as well.
Good.
You know, when I remember going to my pediatrician and I was like, he was like, is your baby on a schedule? And I was like, not really, because we travel a lot. So I'm kind of just
Also, what's the schedule?
Yeah, I'm
Why?
just doing what suits us right now for our family in this time. And I didn't do the same thing with my daughters because we had a different lifestyle at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, it's like I couldn't do the dark room. The dark room wouldn't have happened. It was wherever we were. It could have been in a bus, in a restaurant,
At a concert.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he said to me that I needed to sleep train, and he said that I needed to get my husband to do it and go let the baby cry for 10 minutes and then come in every 10 minutes, and then after 2 to 3 nights he'll be sleep trained.
How did you feel when he said that to you?
I mean, it like primally it's devastating.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel right on a cellular level.
It doesn't feel right.
Right? So and then I come to realize, like, you know, lately that actually that wasn't kind of like my instincts might have been right. I mean, everyone's
Your
different.
instincts
Again,
are absolutely right.
I don't want to like everyone for their own, whatever feels right to you. But for me, that
Your
didn't feel
instincts
right.
were absolutely right.
Yeah. And you know, even just recently, I was telling you, I went to Hoffman Institute and they were talking about the first, 18 months of a baby's life and how important that is. And again, everyone to their own. I don't want to impose my opinions or my learnings over time. It might change in 5 years from now. Who knows? But they just talk about like when you let a baby cry, primarily that child thinks it's been abandoned and it's going to die.
An infant
Yes.
has complete dependency on buffering adults, right? The adults become the presence they depend upon.
Yeah.
And the stress tolerance for separation for an infant is measured in minutes.
Yeah.
Because they cannot tolerate stress of separation. They are actually living inside of us for like 10 moons, right? There's 10 months of intrauterine gestation, 10 months of intrauterine gestation, and there's an expected 10 months of extrauterine gestation, which means that they gestate here on your body because we're carry mammals. Just like when you see these primates and they're carrying their babies around, like apes and monkeys and carrying their babies around, because they need to, because they're underdeveloped at birth. Not like, follow mammals like elephants or giraffes or
dolphins,
horses. They're walking the same day.
Right.
And they're following their mom.
Yeah.
Right. Carry mammals have to nurture their babies and their babies close to here once they're born. Also think about this. If you lived inside of an environment that was dark, that was like cozy for this time, you understood the rhythms, the circulations of the maternal environment, the sounds, right? Then that proximity and closeness to that is regulating. And so when a baby's in a different room and they can't hear those sounds or feel that closeness, it's disorienting and destructive to the development of their brain.
Gosh, I feel like crying.
It's okay.
It's so like, there was this saying that was like, I am guilty, but I'm not to blame. Like, because we do what we think is right. And our community informs us of
our
like
community
what
does.
to do.
I came up in a community that says, put the baby down, don't spoil them. Like, like you could actually spoil a child. And I'm like, I'm holding my son. And I remember I would always carry him. He could definitely walk, but I always carried him, either my hip or my back or, whatever. And I remember the adults in my family being like, put him down, like put him to go sleep. I'm like, why can't he just be with us? Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not putting him down. And they're like, can he walk? I'm like, yeah, I think so. And I put him down, like, yes, he can walk. And I pick him back up. And I'm like, no, I'm not putting him down because one day he's going to go off and I'm going to wish that I had not put him down.
Yeah.
I'm going to wish that I didn't stop nursing. I'm going to wish all these things hadn't ended.
Yeah.
Because I initiated the end of it, or I pushed him a certain way. Like they will eventually leave the bed. They will eventually, adjust, right? But they will be well adjusted because they know that you're there.
Yes.
And so this idea of forcing and to speak to what you're talking about and why it didn't feel aligned, because we've been colonized to believe that babies are to be self-sufficient, that they are supposed to be indoctrinated into rugged individualism when they are born. They are not individuals.
Yeah.
They're not. They're part of your body.
Yeah.
Right? They're a baby. They're a baby. They need you. And by the way, there is a conscious, there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? A concept called Mama Toto, which means mother baby, but mother baby as a unit. And so the mother baby dyad is a connected entity. It's not separate, which is why so many things are interconnected and so many things are in dialogue and in conversation between those two units, right? Because they're one. And so to tell a mother, go let your baby cry, you felt something visceral because it doesn't feel right to you, because a baby, his cry is designed for you to respond to, right? And to tell you that I need something, and also to teach you that what babies learn when we let them cry, when we don't respond to their needs, they learn that nobody's coming. Yeah. So I have to self-heal, I have to rely, right? And so they learn actually to stop crying when they need something, and to not make people aware of when they need something, when they actually have a need. And so those become people who cannot ask for help. Those become people who are self-reliant. Those become people who also develop sometimes, later in life, which we, are now seeing, these neuroses around connection, right? And so, so part of our opportunity as we learn is to not only heal this in ourselves, but heal this with, because some of us weren't held. Some of us weren't breastfed. And I feel like if a lot of us were held more, things would be really different in this world. But also for our babies, like to be told by male doctors who cannot ever do what your body has done, that you should be doing this. Yes. And also the idea of a schedule. Your baby does not born with a circadian rhythm. They are born with no understanding of the rhythm of nature yet. Because the rhythms were all about what's happening in your body, right? Yeah. So when they come out, they're informed by what's night or day through the exposure to sunlight, the exposure to night, and the exposure to your milk. Yeah. Your milk actually will create amino acids in the daytime that keep a baby awake and provide alertness. That nighttime milk actually will create proteins and also amino acids that actually are for sleeping. Wow. I did not know that. Your milk is timed, so that's called Chrono-Nutrition. So your body informs the baby of when to be awake and when to be asleep. It trains the baby in that on its own. Wow. Then when you go out in the world, if your baby's asleep, they freaking go to bed. Yeah. Like if you put the baby in a carrier or whatever, the movement of your body will make them go to sleep.
Honestly, and that's the thing, is like that sleep training process, which I failed at multiple times. And it was I feel like it was the worst period of my life. Anytime I had to put my baby to sleep away from me. And I also found like when the baby's on me, baby wearing, like at Bumpsuit, we made a carrier. Like as soon as I launched the business.
It was the first thing, right?
Yeah. Everyone's like, why are you launching a carrier? It's apparel and then accessories. And I'm like, it's what moms need.
And you bear your baby. It's apparel.
I wish like if there's one thing I did more, was baby wear. Because the baby is so close to you, and my babies would sleep the best.
They would, right?
In the carrier. It doesn't matter. It's like, why do we think that the baby's going to sleep the best in a crib away from you?
In a container, they're not.
They always sleep on you.
They always sleep on you.
It doesn't matter if there's like loud music or I'm talking or I'm doing dishes, clanging, doing whatever. It's like the baby would,
because you're home.
As soon as you take it off, it's like maybe they're going to wake up. It's like, and you also have that beautiful bonding experience, that exchange of, it's a wellness thing for the child.
Yeah, they know that they're safe.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the other thing about
skin to skin
and the wearing and the closeness, like they think about for us, like you want to sleep with your partner, you want to be nestled, you want to be entwined. Like if you wake up in the middle of the night and they're there and you're over here, you're like, I'm going to get close. Yeah. Like I'm going to cuddle. I'm going to put my feet over, entwine my leg. Like you want to be like that too. So why do you think they want to be all by themselves in another room? Or that they can't even create their own heat in the beginning. They need to, like they need that closeness to generate the heat and to regulate their nervous systems, but also to regulate even their heart rate. Like they, babies, like they can forget to breathe and stuff. They're just learning how to breathe air. Yeah. Right. So everything is new to them. So that closeness is really key. It teaches them so much. It helps them to adjust to life outside the womb. Yeah. And so I'm a big fan of keeping them close. And I hear people of like, oh, it's difficult and it's a short period of your life, right? Where they really, really need you. And so, as much as you can involve community, because again, I think for one person, it's a lot. It's a lot. But if it's a whole bunch of us that are here to support the baby, guess what? It's not that difficult. Like you can hand the baby to me now. I mean, I also felt like the sleep training part and going back and forth, it was more chaotic, more time consuming than just having the baby on me, baby wearing. Oh yeah, totally. I also feel like, I don't know, even now my kids are a little older. They're 11, 8, and 6. And when they're sick, some people like will distance themselves from their sick kids because they have to go to work or, they've got things to do. They don't want to spread the germs. My intuition is to get really close. Like if my kids are sick, I'll do skin on skin contact with me just to like, I don't know if this is even a thing, but I feel like our bodies are passing information. They are, across. And I'm just like figuring out what they have, telling them it's going to be okay, really like giving them some kind of energetic strength as well. Through the skin to skin contact, I feel like there's a lot of information sharing through always just being close, like closeness. Absolutely. Women are amazing and I don't think we don't see ourselves enough and each other. And the community needs to, that's my whole like purpose in life is just really to amplify and with our style voices. Yes. I want to run through some rapid fire questions with you. So wisdom for our community, because this is this podcast is a resource for the next generation of moms. So like, how many people have you worked with, do you think, in your time? Oh gosh. I mean, well, I would say directly impacting from the doula community, we've trained over 3,000. Wow. And nurse care managers as well. I've worked with university students. I've worked with nurses. I've worked with medical students, like everyone, in that capacity. I'm removed from my doula work, not as closely to that because of the fact that like I teach. And so it just makes it so that I can't like show up to births in the same way. Yeah. So my commitment is to educating people who can go do that work. I did hundreds of births in my time. But now I'm so moved by the opportunity to create resources for people and have impact through digital advocacy, through education. Yeah. We've had like 10.2 billion impressions in digital advocacy for our efforts in like really reaching people around maternal health, the maternal health crisis and what to be able to do, and so I'm grateful for that. And then we've been able where can our listeners find that? Yes. So, because that's amazing. Yeah. So one of the things that was really important to us was to create a digital resource around pregnancy and postpartum and thinking about preferences, because what we often forget as people think about birth planning is like birth is going to go the way it goes, but like we can prepare for every step along the way and have a response of how we want to handle those encounters and how we want the experience to go ideally. And so this guide, the shared decision-making toolkit that we did in partnership with Aetna is really like ushering us through every step of the way. Yeah.
This guide
there. Yeah.
And you can get this on mamaglow.com.
Yeah, you can get it on Mamaglow. It's downloadable. It's a free resource.
It's a free resource, guys.
And it's awesome.
I would have definitely
and now you have it
and
for like
the
future of just sharing with community. But
so good. Necessary.
And I just feel like,
wow, good on you for offering that.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you for that.
Thank you too. And nurses are using it in hospitals.
Yeah.
Nurses at Aetna are using it with their high risk team, and then we're using it and our doulas are using it. So it's just a way to be like, listen, we have something for you. We want you to engage with it. And also, it's something that we feel like is really important as an organization to ensure that people just have access to tools that they can just download for free.
Yeah.
To help them in their journeys.
So what would you say if someone's pregnant right now? Do you need a moment?
Hold on one second.
I had a sneezing fit this morning.
It's like,
Okay,
so what?
So someone's pregnant, they're listening to this podcast. What would you say, like top 5 things to do right now?
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so my first thing with pregnancy is, we're talking about the village. So it's build your birth village.
Yeah.
It is really starting to identify those key people that are going to be in your tribe. And I'd like to think about it like we're doing like our little like R&B group, like who, like I need to have like, who are going to be, I'm Beyonce, who's going to be my Michelle, my Kelly, like to my left and my right, you know? So it's like, think about it like that, like really bringing in the best people in your community to show up for you. There's a very cool, exercise called pod mapping that I love. Yeah. And it comes from the disability justice movement, where people who are in positions where they really need to ask for help, that are designing what that community looks like and what care looks like for them in advance. Yeah. And so this tool is a way where you do these circles and you have like a big circle in the middle and smaller circles all around, and you sort of figure out the names of who's in those circles, and who's closest to you are the people that you call upon that become part of that pod. And so I love exercises like that as a way to think about like how to actualize the care and how we can design responsive care for our needs in advance. Yeah. And so calling in community, calling in family members, resourcing through going to classes, obviously, finding a doula would be the next thing. Yeah. And that doula, as we've talked about today, there's lots of avenues that you can take with it, and there's lots of ways doulas can support you. Obviously, there's pregnancy and birth, and then the postpartum doula is on the aftercare side for supporting you. There's people who can support you if you have miscarriage and loss. There's people who can support through baby loss, right? So there's all kinds of ways that we can engage with the doula. So wherever you are in your journey, if you've had a difficult time getting pregnant, if you've had challenges, or if you're like at a later point in your life or you're doing it again, like this is a time where just having an expert that understands and can help hold your hand as you cross that river is so important.
And can people come to Mamaglow and find doulas there, like through Mamaglow?
Thanks for asking that.
Doula and postpartum doula?
Yeah, so we have both. We have doulas for birth,
all
postpartum,
over America?
Doulas, everything all over the United States. Yeah.
Best.
And we also
Amazing.
take insurance, and we also take FSA and HSA. So if you have, which are pre-tax, healthcare dollars that you set aside, that your employer sets aside for you. And so it's like a credit card, and you can just like swipe it and like pay for your doula that way. Yeah. And also if you have a family member that may have HSA and you're on their plan, then you can also use their healthcare dollars. So that's really nice. Great. But then we also have a program called Love Delivered, where we offer doula services pro bono for individuals across the country in key cities if they can't afford it. And then we also have in the city of New York, a program called Citywide Doula Initiative. And through that program, we're the largest provider of pro bono doula services. So if anybody across 33 zip codes needs a doula, they're probably getting it from us.
This makes me so happy.
Yeah. So there's always to get it. You know, if you need it, we can get that support to you. There's no reason to not get the support.
Right.
And at all levels. So if you can pay out of pocket to insurance to like pro bono, there's something for you. You should not be without a doula. Thanks for asking about that because I probably would have forgotten to say it.
Yeah.
The third thing I would say, you like mind your mental health.
Yeah.
And so really thinking about like what you need for that. Like, is it a licensed mental health provider? Is it community and having like a group chat where you check in and there's accountability and you're thinking about, you know, your mental health in that way? Is it journaling?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I love that's a resource that I also created is called Peaceful Parenting.
Yes.
And it's guided meditations. Yeah.
I
So it's like
that.
20 meditations and affirmations. It's awesome. I launched it just like last fall. And it's a great guide for parents because it goes through fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, but also just everyday life.
Yeah.
And there's meditations that are as short as 5 minutes up to like 30. And you can really just get in where you fit in. And so I feel like it's a great tool for parents to be using. And it's downloadable. If you have Spotify and all those things, you can just download it. It's great.
On the way after school drop off or whatever you can.
Yeah, you turn it on.
You had a hard morning, get that meditation on.
Exactly.
It'll just like realign you.
Realign yourself, right? So get those tools.
What an incredible tool.
Right? Like it's like, I feel like it's important to create the things that you needed. Like you are here like, okay, I was in Australia, I had community there, and now I'm in the States. Like I'm building community spaces for people through fashion, through lifestyle, through motherhood, and also through this idea of, you know, bridge building, right? Like finding ways to bring people together in beautiful space and like whether it's in person or like, you know, online in this way, I think it's so important. And so like you're building what you also needed, right? Yeah. Like I'm building what I also needed. And so I think that that's kind of like what women do. I always see people problem solving and then they're not necessarily the beneficiaries of the thing that they built, but people who come after them get to benefit from it. I
mean, like what you're bringing here today, my top things, you know, like parenting meditation. That's so important.
It's so key.
Just to realign in those moments. Like even if you are sleep training, if you decide to go that route and you are feeling like really disconnected from your body and you're just like, this doesn't feel right. Turning on one of your meditations and just realigning and hand on heart
and
kind
just
of
chill.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like
being able to get up and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Instead of operating from, you know, a place that's not grounded. It's
exactly.
Like meditation really brings that. So that, and then this resource is incredible. Having the doula platform. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you too.
Like, thank you. Do you have two more?
I do.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so then I would say movement. I think movement is so important. Finding like whether it's walking, yoga, Pilates, if it's dance, just finding a practice that works for you, that keeps your body moving daily to protect your joints, but also keep you healthy and also prepare you for the demands of labor. Labor is, they don't call it labor for nothing. It is work. Yeah. So preparing your body for that work, I think is also like really important, not overdoing it, but making sure that you just, you know, have an outlet that you enjoy. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, I'm going to try this new thing. I don't think pregnancy is like a testing ground for new activities, but I do think that for things that are like really low, like low in terms of the exertion and not, you know, high energy or like that are too like upregulating are activities you can do. Yeah. So, but don't be like, okay, I'm going to be doing like, you know, cycling, mountain cycling or whatever. Yeah. You know, just like try continuing doing the things you're already doing. If you have a good practice already, say you run every day, you can continue to run. Yeah. You just have to modulate and see where your body is and what it needs. But movement, I think, is so critical. And the other thing about movement is that people typically do group exercise and you meet people.
Yeah.
Right. You meet people, you meet other people who may be also having babies and you make friends. And so I feel like that's a great way.
To expand your community
exactly,
too.
expand your
It's like
community.
if you need to fill in a couple of those gaps.
Absolutely. Exactly. And the other thing I would say that I am, because I'm like a food person, is also thinking about like packing a mobile pantry and always having access to snacks. When you're pregnant, you have these weird cravings sometimes, aversions, like you can eat this, you hate that, like you can smell into the future. It's like, it's so crazy, the sensitivities that happen early on. So think about like, you know, planning ahead for yourself so that you have what you need to stay fortified while you're growing a baby, right? And so I like to think about like hydration, whether that's smoothies and things that are easy when sometimes you have the queasies with your tummy. I think about, you know, packing foods that like, I love like a Trader Joe's run or something because they have like the most amazing snacks, by the way.
Yeah,
like, first of all,
yeah.
like, they figured out also how to do like the bootleg version of snacks that are like really expensive everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then, or like
snack heaven,
right? It's like it's like fast fashion, but for snacks, right? It's like so weird, but I love them for that because you can get stuff that you can just pack and have in your car or in your bag or whatever it is. So that's great. But then also getting like your fruits and your veggies and really making sure that you get all of your nutrients from food. Yeah. You know, and that you supplement with your prenatal vitamin. Yeah. Another cute tip, guys. Okay, if you have morning sickness, do your prenatals at night. Do your prenatals at night, right? Because that's where a lot of the minerals are. And those minerals sometimes in the morning can make your tummy really upset. Okay. So do your prenatals at night. And then you can do all of your like your teas and like all your, you know, vitamin based, you know, supplements during the day. Yeah. But minerals like your prenatal should be like before you go to bed. And that'll help with, you know, managing things like a morning sickness, which comes up for many people.
Yeah, that's amazing advice.
Yeah, do that. And about 300 calories of protein at night. So it's like maybe half a piece of toast with like some almond butter or like a little like 8-ounce smoothie. Also will help stave off morning sickness. We do it at night.
Before the prenatal or with the prenatal?
Could be with.
Anywhere.
Yeah, or even without, but like at night. Yeah. It's like even like a little, you know, those little like granola bar type of things, like 300 calories, something like that. At night will help stave off morning sickness the next day. Yeah.
That's great advice.
So the diet stuff is like key, you know, because that just, if you have, you know, if you've eaten what you need and just enough, right, you'll feel so much better. And so maintain your blood sugar during pregnancy and your overall health, and getting the right kind of like supplements as well as herbs are going to be so key in helping your body to adjust and also to prepare for what's ahead.
Have you written a book on diet yet and like when to take stuff?
No, but I did have my book from 2012, but I would say like in terms of updates, like there's a lot of really cool information on mamaglow.com. And cool. I'm doing an herbalism class actually in May that's in person, but I will be doing more online around that. And I think that just making sure people have this information, like I'm here to like share everything I know. That's how I think about it, you know? But also if you're interested as a mother or as a person listening, like doula training, we do those virtually and a couple times a year. The next one is coming up in the spring. And so, but they're throughout the year. So go to mamaglow.com, but join us, because I think that when we have mothers or people who've already had babies or coming back and they have been impacted by birth or somewhere along this continuum by community members, they feel compelled to do this work. We need people like that. We need more moms. We need more people who want to serve, you know, alongside people who are having babies to like help grow this movement and also to help build our villages and restore our villages.
And also we never know when we're going to stumble upon a birthing mother and we might need to pull these practices into gear. So
exactly. You might be on a plane. I never know.
I feel like doing a doula course would just be amazing for anyone to understand, you know, the female body and nurturing and community and like being a part of one of the most magical part of life.
You should come.
I will. As soon as I get a little time.
I know.
But I would love to do that.
Yeah. You'd be such a great doula.
I feel like I usually ask like, thank you. I usually ask like words of wisdom, but I feel like you've offered like so many, right? It's like the whole thing is wisdom. But is there anything you wanted to add in? Words of wisdom?
I would say be gentle with yourself, you know, speak kindly to yourself. Like so many changes happen in this time, right? Like that we undergo as moms and of women. And we're, like you were saying, like sometimes we're hard on ourselves so we don't recognize how powerful we are. And just knowing that like you're so powerful and leaning into that and being gentle, like even if something doesn't go right or, you know, you're feeling like not your best, like affirming yourself, like, you know, using words of affirmation, but also just reminding yourself that like there's only one you and you're special and you're unique and you're amazing, you know, and just being kind. You know, I think that for moms, we get really hard on ourselves in ways that we shouldn't. And it's something that we have to liberate ourselves from because we actually have children who see us, who watch us. And they will emulate us. And so those words I think of kindness are so important because I see little kids, you know, doing that. And I'm like, oh, you know, they're also seeing that modeled a little bit, right? Like, and so I think that we should do that, start to speak blessing over ourselves, start to speak kindly to ourselves, especially as our bodies are changing and things are happening that we feel are out of our control. What's happening is really like a miracle. And so just knowing that you're miraculous, I think is so important.
To your point as well, like speaking to ourselves. Like to our bodies, like having relationship with body. Right?
Oh, so important.
I think there was some study done recently at one of the big, like maybe it was Harvard, where they did a clinical study on a group of people that were actually talking to their body. And that the healing power of doing that was so more profound than medicine and supplements. And so, yes, talking to your body. And recently I've found like talking to myself as a child, like my 8-year-old self, because we are all that person. We've just got layers of like adulthood and like life on top of that, but deep down, like you are that 8-year-old little girl inside, and talk to her, see how she's feeling, see what she needs in pregnancy.
I really love that you said that. And you know why I love that you said that is because first of all, if anybody knows a good therapist, I'm looking for one.
Go to Hoffman.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm not like working for Hoffman, by the way.
But I'm probably gonna have to go now because
everyone should go.
No, seriously. The reason I'm saying this is like I was in a therapy process. It didn't work out. The therapist was like, you just have to find the right one, right? I need to find the right one. But one of the things that I remember starting to do was because I was talking about my mom a lot, and I learned something, or I think I just thought of something as like a way that I was going to engage, that every time I had a thought about like that I was annoyed or I felt frustrated, that I would be like, she's literally just a girl. And I would think about her as a girl. And then I would think about like what in her life would lead her to making the decisions that she does or the things that she's doing that are creating the friction, but move away from that and see that this is a little girl who just doesn't have the relational skills to communicate with me in a way that's like not harmful right now. And so I'm just going to see her as a girl. And I love that you said talk to our little girl self, because it's also sometimes that we need that to realize what it is that we feel like we don't have in terms of a resource to be able to be our best in the moment. Or if we feel defenseless or we feel like unprotected or whatever these things are that we're feeling, we can connect to it better by looking through that lens. Right? So I love that you said that. And also we care for children. Like we care for them more than sometimes we think about, you know, like our children. Look how we care for them in terms of ourselves. So think about how to care for your child inside. You obviously would be so much more protective in ways that you're maybe not as your adult self. So I love that you said that.
off, like, don't use this in the edit, but like Hoffman is such a great resource. Like I'm sending my mom, I'm sending my kids when they turn 18 as well, because it's like all about like healing that, just understanding like how we became the way we are now.
Yeah.
And also healing that parent relationship.
That's key.
I'm going to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on our podcast. I feel like I could talk to you about so many other things.
Same.
And we might have to do that at some point.
Oh my God, we will. We totally will.
For now, thank you. Thank you for listening to the Village podcast, where we share unique stories from humans of all walks of life, normalizing conversations and experiences in pregnancy, childbirth, postpartum, and motherhood. We are here to serve, and we really want to hear from you. So feel free to share, comment, like, and subscribe to keep this village growing. We are eternally grateful for you being with us and sharing space today.